Have you ever wondered about that one person you know? The one who never posts, while the rest of the world is broadcasting their breakfast, their breakouts, and their breakthroughs. This person just exists in silence. Are they hiding something? Or have they figured out a secret that the rest of us are too distracted to see? Welcome back to INVICTUS X. Today, we're going to uncover why the quietest people in the room might actually be the loudest in their souls. Part 1. The Coliseum of Vanity. Let's be honest with each other for a second. We live in a strange era. It is a time where if something isn't photographed, it feels like it didn't happen. But there is a specific group of people who have chosen to opt out of this game. And the interesting part? This choice rarely comes from shyness or an inability to use technology. It comes from a profound realization. There is a specific kind of freedom that only exists when you stop needing to be seen. I'm sure you've felt the opposite of this freedom, that heavy, sinking fatigue when you open an app, scroll endlessly for 20 minutes, and realize that even though you are staring at thousands of faces, nobody is truly showing you who they are. You are scrolling through a highlight reel that makes you feel like a blooper tape. Seneca, the great Stoic philosopher, wrote something 2,000 years ago that cuts through our modern digital noise like a knife. He who lives for the eyes of others will never be free. Think about that. Social media has become our new Coliseum, but instead of fighting lions, we are fighting for validation. It is a Coliseum of vanity, where everyone is trying to prove they are winning at life, even when they are exhausted, broke, or heartbroken behind the screen. I remember a specific moment that changed how I viewed this. I was at a concert, one of my favorite bands. The lights went down, the first chord struck, and instinctively, I didn't look at the stage. I looked at my phone screen to make sure the frame was right. I spent the first 3 songs recording a video that I would never watch again, just to prove to people I hardly talked to that I was doing something cool. When you decide to post, you aren't just sharing, you are performing. You fix the lighting, you think about the caption, you worry about the angle. And in that exact second, the memory stops being yours. It is packaged, edited, and handed over to the jury of the internet. The experience stops being a memory and becomes content. Part 2. The Trap of Curation, the Psychology. This is where the psychology gets deep. Psychologists call this social performance anxiety, the constant low-level fear of not looking interesting enough. But it goes deeper than just anxiety. It changes how we value our own lives. There's a fascinating insight on curation that suggests that because sharing features our opinions, it hits those psychological imperatives of wanting validation and social identity. We curate to build a self that others will applaud. That's from The Future is Creation via Curation. But when you curate your life, you are no longer the main character. You are the museum guide, walking people through exhibits of a life you're too busy managing to actually live. The danger is that this quietly trains your brain to measure your worth by other people's reactions. Every like is invisible applause. Every silence is a rejection. But the people who don't post, they have broken that cycle. They discovered psychological ownership. This is the idea that when something is truly yours, a moment, a victory, a sunset, you feel an intimate bond with it. But the moment you expose it to the public, that bond fractures. Your joy becomes public opinion. Your pain becomes entertainment. Let me tell you a story about a man named Elias. Elias was a successful architect, the kind of guy who had every reason to brag on LinkedIn or Instagram. But he didn't exist online. When I asked him why, he told me about a trip he took to the Alps. He said, "The first time I went, I took 500 photos. I worried about the battery life. I worried about the signal to upload them. I missed the cold wind on my face because I was filtering the blue of the sky. The second time I went," he said, I left the phone in the cabin. I sat on the ridge for 3 hours. I watched an eagle hunt. I felt the drop in temperature. And that memory? It's locked in my head in 4K resolution. No one can scroll past it. No one can double tap it. It is mine. Those who step away aren't running from life. They are responding wisely to a world that confuses visibility with value. Part 3. The sound of silence and true connection. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you that matters, but how you respond to what happens." When you stop posting, you face a terrifying question. If I don't post, do I still matter? The ego fears being forgotten, but the soul? The soul needs that silence to breathe. I challenge you to try this. Go 1 week without posting. At first, you will feel the phantom limb syndrome. You will eat a beautiful meal and your hand will twitch toward your pocket. But after 3 days, something shifts. You start to notice the texture of the world again, the sound of footsteps, the smell of rain on pavement, the way your partner's eyes crinkle when they laugh. Details you missed because you were looking for the perfect angle. You regain presence. Seneca said, "Nothing is more powerful than he who masters himself." That is what happens when you leave the stage and return to the backstage of your own life. Time slows down. The need to compare yourself to a stranger in another country fades away. And here is the hidden effect that few people talk about. Your relationships reveal their truth. When you stop waving your hand digitally, saying, "Look at me," you see who is actually looking. Who texts you just to ask, "How are you?" without being prompted by a story update. Who checks in because they miss you, not because they saw your content. Real friendships are quiet. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "True friendships are quiet and discreet." The deepest bonds don't need an audience. They grow through presence, not performance. If your friendship requires a public display to feel valid, it might not be a friendship. It might be a mutual marketing agreement. Part 4. Achieving Ataraxia. The ancient Stoics had a word for this state of mind: ataraxia. It is a deep, unshakable state of calm that comes when you stop depending on external things to find peace. In 2026, finding ataraxia is harder than ever. It means finding calm in the middle of notifications. It means using technology as a tool, not a mirror. Imagine how liberating it feels to live a moment that doesn't need to be photographed, to help a stranger and not film it for faith in humanity points, to work hard in the dark and let the results speak rather than the announcement post. This isn't about hating technology. I'm not telling you to throw your smartphone into the ocean and live in a cave. It's about mastery. It's about choosing what deserves to be shared and what deserves to remain sacred. Not everything is content. Some parts of you are just for you. When you allow yourself that kind of retreat, you discover that being unseen doesn't mean disappearing. It means being whole. Privacy isn't isolation. It is the ultimate luxury. It is freedom. So, the next time you meet someone who doesn't post, who prefers anonymity, or who has simply chosen to live outside the digital spotlight, don't pity them. Don't assume they are boring. Remember this: they aren't hiding. They have just realized that life is much bigger than what fits on a 6-inch screen. They have learned the value of living without witnesses. They have joys that don't need likes. They have built a peace that doesn't depend on applause. And what about you? Here is my challenge to the INVICTUS X community this week. Try to keep one major victory or one beautiful moment completely to yourself. Don't tell anyone. Don't post it. Just hold it. See how that changes the way you feel about it. See if it feels heavier, more real, more yours. We need to mute the noise, to reconnect with what really matters. If this message resonated with you, I want to hear from you, not for the likes, but for the conversation. Share in the comments what is one habit you've changed to reclaim your peace from social media. Let's learn from each other. Thank you for watching INVICTUS X. Remember, the deepest power doesn't come from being seen. It comes from self-knowledge. Silence isn't empty. It's full of answers. See you in the next one.